Hello, my name is Amanda Mason, and welcome to this week's last and final segment of Blue Ridge Artstream. Before I get started, I would like to extend a very big shout out to all of the other Blue Ridge Artstream team members: Wes Wall, Lucas Treba, Kaylee Campen, Cherry Johnson, Alora Dash, and Amber Bateman. None of this would have ever happened without you guys. So thank you so much. I would also like to extend a thank you to all of the artists who have participated with us week after week. It has been an absolute joy for me, and I hope it has for you guys too. This is not a complete and total end to Blue Ridge Artstream. We still have to disperse all the funds that you guys have graciously donated to us. So stay tuned for that. If you would like to give one final contribution, the Give Better link is in our Facebook bio. All funds will go towards local artists seeking financial relief during this pandemic, so it's a well-worthy cause. Throughout this program, we have highlighted multiple different mediums of art, from visual to musical to literary, even some performance art. But tonight you'll get to see all four. Startari is a literary artist from the high country who really does it all. Tonight you'll get to see a taste of her poetry, of her visual art, and even get to see a little bit of pin juggling. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Hey there. Well, I thought I'd better do a little bio, tell you a little bit about myself, and what better place to do my bio than I'm back in the house I grew up in, and this was my old bedroom. I took over my brother's bedroom when he left to go in the service, and he loved the Steelers. So we've got the Steelers emblem on the ceiling. And we have the iron curtain. My mother had somebody paint that, a neighbor, who really influenced me, because then I started painting. I loved rock and roll. So I was 14 and got some Van Halen there, a little Iron Maiden, some Led Zeppelin. Oh, let's see. And here is the unfinished Def Leppard. And there is the Judas Priest. Yeah, so I would sequester myself in my room and paint and write poetry. So when the COVID came along and the featured artists were to go virtual on this Artstream thing, I got on the application, and it had 4 categories. I think it was art and literature, performance, and music. And so I thought, why don't I try to do like a little bit of each? That might be kind of fun, just a little challenge there, since I like to do a little of those. Hey, so literature. I've been writing poetry my whole life, and I joined the High Country Writers 4 years ago, and I've published 2 poetry books, each called Flicker. Flicker 1 and Flicker 2. They're called Flicker for different reasons. I'll get into that during the course of the next half hour. I'm working on the 3rd one, and then I'm going to take the 4th one would be an anthology of all 3 Flickers. So that's the poetry. Look at that. The Joe Pye weed's blooming already. That really makes me feel like it's fall. The wildflowers really tell it all. Hey, I am, let's see, I hope I hit myself. I'm Startari, and I've published a book a few weeks ago, Wildflowers of the Southern Appalachia. Here it is. What do you mean low power mode? So, why wildflowers? Where did the interest come from? Well, when I first moved here, we lived up at about 4,500 feet. My husband and I were broke our first winter, and so we went up on the hill and dug ginseng and dried the roots and sold them to Wilcox, and it was legally gathered. But after that, we don't do that anymore, because we feel like we need to put back. I feel like I owe the ginseng family a lot, so I try to plant the seeds, and I don't dig the roots anymore. It's a real special thing we have here, along with all these wildflowers. Let's take a look here. I'll show you what some of these pages look like. So anyway, while we were out doing this thing called yarbing, I don't know if we had a neighbor who was an older local fellow. And I don't know if he was pulling our leg or what, but when he heard what we were doing, he said, "Oh, you're out there yarbing." He said, "You're yarbing for the ginseng." And I don't know. I think he might have been messing with us. I don't know if that's a real term. So yeah, you can see it's a lot bigger than my original book with each season depicted. I divided it up by season. Anyway, we would take, our landlords had all these guidebooks because they had such a love for the mountains. Doyle and Ann Pace, we would borrow their books and go out and try to identify these wildflowers. And let me tell you, it just takes so long to even just put in a small amount. Every year I'd put in however many, 5, 10 wildflowers into my head. And this forest here is just, you just can't ever know it all. I mean, it's a medicine cabinet. It really is. Well, you know what? This book is medicinal. Because, like I said, I started working on this in the quarantine, you know, when we had some time. And this whole process with the COVID has really brought about, let's see, some frustration because of waiting, just constant being on hold, constantly feeling helpless or like you can't do anything about something. There's the Mayapple uncolored. See, there it is colored. But anyway, so coloring, really relaxing activity. I made this one during the COVID. I wanted to add wild columbine because I don't know if you've seen those when they bloom, the wild ones, but they go from like yellow to like a pinkish orangish. It's really pretty. And we have a lot of rare wildflowers. Fringed orchid, if you've seen one, you've seen a rare flower. But anyway, I think that every night when I sit down to work on this, it was very relaxing. And then when I went to color it, that was really relaxing. And it's just something that's helped me get through this time. And so I hope to share this with people of all ages. And there's one I added, Turk's Cap, because that's a real vibrant one. So, if you need to relax, go buy Wildflowers of Southern Appalachia by Startari. Thank you. Like I said, I joined the High Country Writers, and both my poetry books have received Book of the Year awards, and last year a poem from my third book won the Wordsmith Award, which it was the first time they've given that out, and it was really cool. And my blog won the 2019 Co-Kaiser Journalism Award. So those are my 3 literary things that I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm back again. There is more. So my venture into self-publishing started with this book, available at Dancing Moon and Amazon. It is called Flicker. It's poems and inspirational writings from an ultimate perspective. Ultimate meaning ultimate frisbee. So I was in charge of the Boone Ultimate Alliance for, good gosh, almost 10 years. No, wait, or was it 8? Anyway, blah. And while I was in charge, I wrote these poems and things to inspire the players, to get my players out. And this book is full of the art from the frisbees that let's see here. It's full of the poems. There's art. Athletic art and poetry, and there are, look, here's a page. These are all the frisbees I designed over the years being in charge of it. I designed t-shirts, frisbees, wrote poetry. It's all in here. 7 years worth of writings and art from when I was playing Ultimate and in charge of the local Ultimate organization. Check it out. So I kept going. My second book, Flicker again, but for a different reason. All my poetry books are named Flicker for a different reason. The first one was Flicker because the most popular throw in Ultimate Frisbee is a flick. And so this one is Flicker, and it gives a story about what a flicker is. You use a walking stick. Here's my sticky, my walking stick of 20 years. And you flick, it's trail maintenance without bending over. You flick sticks, and there's a whole art form to it. But anyway, I go on a little story about that in the intro of this book. But this book is all trail notes, poetry, and art about what I've seen out in nature. So you have 4 sections in here: flora and fauna, and I got a section, there's stuff about just nature, photographs, there's some art, water, rock. Oh, there's fauna. There's my first dog. I named my business Boone Barn Dog after him. That's Barney, the barn dog. And then I have, just all kinds of water and rock. Oh, I have a section called Was Alkever, which means whatever in German. And it's just miscellaneous nature poems. But this book is twice the size of my first one. Definitely worth checking out. Won Book of the Year award from High Country Writers. So Flicker, Trail Notes. It's on Amazon and available at Dancing Moon Bookstore in downtown Boone. As far as the performance aspect goes, I joined the ASU Juggling Club, oh my gosh, I don't know, 10 or so years ago. And I learned how to juggle clubs and do all kinds of fun stuff. And so I really enjoy that. It's great for an ADD personality. So I combine that with my poetry, which I'll talk about the performance poetry here in a minute. As we grow, we fall into the flow of the current day so. Head barely below, still off we go. It's make some money and find a spouse, have a baby, buy land or a house. So much minutia and such. Too many to see, too many to touch. Too many to manage, too vast to clutch. What I need is a nice sturdy crutch. I can create some order. Not a thing will be missed. Though it never gets any shorter. Make a list, make a list, make a list. Answer the phone, recharge your cell, stop by the office, send all the mail, make breakfast, pack lunch, plan all the food, juggle bills, take the trash, keep your head tightly screwed. Post the results, bake some bread, schedule that meeting, make all the beds, get an appointment, practice your art, feed all the animals. But before you start, make a list. Make a list. When chaos, kitsch, and clutter persist, make a list. Make a list. The overcommitting will not desist. Make a list. Make a list. You need an exit, but no ramp exists. Make a list. Make a list. Before your dreams vanish into the mist, make a list. Make a list. Carry the water, the pipes are all froze. Pick up your daughter, fold all the clothes, send the deposit, go to the store, pay on the mortgage, fix the back door. Tend to friends, write thank you notes, sort the recycling, patch up the boats, change the cat litter. Wipe up that spill. Remember to breathe. Take a vitamin pill. Try to relax. You're supposed to have fun. You need to rest. But get it all done. Make a list. Make a list. No one knows why you're terminally pissed. Make a list. Make a list. There's no respect. You're constantly dissed. Make a list. Make a list. When matters that matter throw you in the abyss, make a list. Make a list. When climbing the ladder has you mad as a hatter, make a list. Make a list. Measure the meters, strike the right chords, rinse out the brushes, sharpen your swords, visit the family, unpack the bags, sweep all the floors, cut up some rags, check email, your cell in the post office box, draw a beard and a mustache on Virginia Fox. Stoke the fire, split the logs, trim the rabbit's teeth, Go walk the dogs. Read a book, buy stamps, balance accounts. But what do you do when the pile surmounts? Make a list. Make a list. No time, too busy for a hug and a kiss? Make a list. Make a list. When your hackles are up and your shackles are up around your wrists? Make a list. Make a list. Feeling alone? No one to assist? Make a list. Make a list. Grab paper and pen. Get the gist? Make a list. Whew, order the stuff. Clean out the car. Lose some weight. Wish on a star. Harvest the herbs, peel the potatoes, string the beans, can the tomatoes, plan the lesson, teach a class, load the gear, mow the grass. Go to the doctor, research the cause, work on your marriage. But don't break any laws. So difficult, the mundane tasks. Find and buy sanitizer casks. Wash and wear your high fashion masks. It's 6 feet if anyone asks. Or make a list. I find I cannot always recall. Make a list. Make a list. One mind can't possibly hold it all. Make a list. Make a list. When to do today becomes much too tall. Make a list. Make a list. Grab a pad. Begin to scrawl. Make a list. Make a list. Crossing things off gives me a sense of release. Tossing things out puts me at ease. Mark one off, then add 3. Make a list for your neighbor. Make one for me. A shopping list, a chopping list, a picking up the droppings list, a hopping list, an eye-popping list, a never-ever stopping list. And if it lasts, your list is too long. Make a list of lists and bring that along. Simplicity, simplicity. Where is it? Where is simplicity? It must be on here somewhere. Oh, simplicity has 3 eyes. Why do I feel so blind? How do I minimize? How do I unbind? 3 eyes, 3 eyes, 3 eyes. I know. I is for ingenuity. That's making do with what you've got. I is for integrity. That's knowing when to stop. I is for ignorance. We all know that it is bliss. But what we really know is we don't know. Less is more. Give up your list. The note. Way back in the dark of my desk. At the end of the day. It waited. I hesitated. And then I thought, hey, somebody sent me a note. Wonder who it's from. Didn't recognize the writing. Started feeling dumb. Pretty paper, obviously a girl's. Soon they would all alter my world. We think you should be wearing a bra. I read it again with a strange sense of awe. Signed sincerely, all the girls in this class. Embarrassment squared, I felt like an ass. A blush rose and festered, my senses sequestered, felt like even my hair turned red. Ding! Saved by the bell, I zoomed out of that hell, wishing to be one of the dead. For the living are always giving a performance, a charade, throwing judgment out like candy from a float in a parade. Girls, are Most of the ones I knew couldn't even play ball. Fashion, jewelry, makeup, no use to me at all. Took me another 10 years to finally answer my own call, to replace the tears and that feeling of small. Time cleared the waters. I forgave those daughters. Even had love's first kiss. And in my joy, I embraced tomboy. What I learned was this: we need more than just players who can ball. We also need those who nurse players when they fall. I am evolution? Well, I am the attempt at something unknown, untried and new. Errors, ideas, right out of the blue. I am the turnover from past to present. Mistakes, second takes, abject lessons. I am an entry in Darwin's journal. A child growing. I am eternal. Moving on. I am the dawn. I am evolution. I'm not a bad person. What did I do? Set the ball rolling? Give misfortune a cue? Trying to help, put someone else higher, only resulted in grievous backfire. Losing control, my sole occupation. Licking the bowl in fruitless frustration. One mistake begets another. Keep your wife, but lose your mother. One bad vote. One bad choice. Speaking out will cost your voice. A forest of friends. My unheard shout. There are no ends. Arounds or outs. It's not their fault. I built this mess. Still hurts more to know I'm less. Where is the turn? Ah, the turn. Where is the end? How do I learn to be my own friend? This one's called Bubble Theory. It's about relationships. Spirals and circles, lovers and friends. Spirals a circle with a detached end. Bubbles appear in the same set of space. Separate motion, velocity, and shape. Some bubbles collide and burst in their haste. Two bubbles may bump, surface tension dictates. One orbits another, making rings like Saturn. Two combine as one, verbatim their pattern. One passes mitosis right through the first, filters out ego and siphons out thirst. The bubble is a circle, dreaming it's a sphere. Living the dream now, not hiding out in fear. The performance poetry, let's see, when I turned 40, I showed my poetry to my daughter's dance teacher, and she got her dance troupe to interpret it. We made a show called 40/40 Vision. There are some excerpts from that in this. And also, the year after that, we made another show called Hurry Up and Wait, and there are some excerpts from that, some pieces from each of those shows, and we used live music, original music, dancers, art. It was great. It was 2005, 2006. Anyway, that's the performance part. As far as art goes, I have been doing a lot of different kinds of art all through my life. So what you're gonna see are just some pieces of what I've been working on. In 1991, I was doing some volunteer work in South Dakota off the Pine Ridge Reservation, and some Native American friends took me to an art show of the art of the Haida Gwaii of the British Columbia, off the coast of British Columbia. I fell in love with that art, the positive and negative, the solving space with one color. Anyway, we'll get into that. Hey there. I thought, I'm not gonna get this thing finished. I've been trying to finish it, but then I thought, don't rush finishing it. Maybe just tell everybody the story about this. It's called Raven Steals the Light. My art is based on a 30-year independent study I've done on the Haida Gwaii tribe off the let's see, it used to be called the Queen Charlotte Islands, but in 2015 they got their name back and it's called Haida Gwaii. And because they were on an island, I'm thinking that's why their style was so unique. Anyway, that's off the coast of British Columbia, above Seattle and Vancouver. And they had this really pan-tribal story in the Pacific Northwest called Raven Steals the Light. So I'm going to describe the story and what this painting means. So Raven Steals the Light is sort of a creation story about where the light comes from. And so the raven, through trickery, it's a long story, ends up stealing the light from this guy who owned all the light by playing on his emotions and fooling himself, fooling the other guy. Anyway, he's flying away with the light, and he gets over to the east. He's kind of tired, and he doesn't notice that the eagle is coming up on him. And so when the eagle catches up with the raven is startled and drops the light. And he was, the eagle managed to get like a big piece, but another big piece, not as big as the one the eagle has, falls to the earth, and it bounces up into the sky as the moon. Now the rest of it all bounced off the ground, and there were so many pieces they ended up becoming the stars. Well, the eagle couldn't hold the light, the big ball of light, so he let go of it. It went over to the east and became, the sun coming up in the east. So what does that story and this have to do? I wanted to use, there are 4 elements in this piece. We've got the moon in blue, we've got the raven wing in green, we've got in purple is the eagle, and the red is one of the rays of the sun. So I've got just pieces of each of those 4 elements, the sun, the moon, the eagle, and the raven, just as they might have been caught at that moment when the eagle is trying to hold on to the sun but can't, and the raven's reaching for the moon but just can't hold on to it and drops it to the earth. So it's just this moment of, sort of that moment like when a ball reaches like you throw it in the air and it gets to that point where it just stops and is going to come back down. So those are the 4 elements, and they each are done in 4 different colors. I've tried a totally different style of painting this time for this huge canvas that I actually found at the dump. Somebody was just throwing it away, so I painted it black to cover what was on there before. And then I thought, I do screen printing, and so I thought, you know, let's do this like you would do a black shirt. When you print on a black shirt, you print a white flash, which is where you print the entire design in white. Everything that is going to be on the shirt is in white first. Then you put the colors on top of it. So if you've seen the stills or the video from what I've done so far, first I painted all this in white. And then I went back and decided I'm going to color each one a solid color. Then after they're solid colors, I go back in and I've just started to do the modeling. It is, when I say modeling, it's sort of it's sort of like the up there, the sun ray, where I put the colors and I give it some three-dimensional quality. So stay tuned. This will eventually be finished, but it's going to take me a long time to finish this. So I'll try to record it, and maybe we can see in the future how that all works out. Thank you. One of my greatest loves is abstract art. I really love to just see what comes out, work straight from the tube a lot of times. I don't do a lot of mixing. I like to do washes. I like to see what happens on the canvas, and it's just so therapeutic. It's really wonderful. Music is the one that really is just my little dark secret. I've been playing piano since I was, 4th grade, but I threw away the books a few years ago, and I like to just sit down and play. And so you're going to hear like pauses and bad notes maybe. I don't know, but it's exactly what I'm playing straight out of my head, no working on it or anything. And I thought I should share a little bit of that so I could get my music category covered. There is screen printing. I taught myself to screen print 15 years ago because I wanted to deliver my art and poetry in a more affordable manner. Before that, I was selling my paintings at art shows, and is great, but you know, everybody doesn't always have the money for an original painting. And so there's some screen printing in this. Hey there, something I definitely need to tell y'all about is the liquidation of my screen printing stock, which is going on at Dancing Moon Bookstore downtown in Boone. I am switching over from the screen printed shirts, which I've been selling for 15 years there. I'm switching over to the coloring books and Color Me cards. So I am liquidating my stocks. Things like this hoodie. This hoodie, very thick hoodie. These are like $20. Used to be like 35, 40 bucks. Yeah, and like these hooded t-shirts. These are 10. Oh my gosh, I'm letting them go for even less than cost. I just need money to switch stock. Shirts, short sleeve shirts like this are $5. Yeah, long sleeve and regular tees, those are $5. I've got these plastic athletic tees, $5. Can't miss it. Dancing Moon Bookstore, downtown Boone. The screen printing is morphing slowly into, well, I do have my first coloring book out, but I also have Color Me cards, and I'm going to be making some homeschool educational materials, all sort of in a coloring sort of vein. I'm going to combine, I also have a make your own totem pole bullet coloring book I'm working on. It's bringing back an old coloring book and adding to it like the first one. So that's another bit of art. So as I mentioned, I'm liquidating my screen printing stock so I can switch over to that coloring book, which I told you about. And also, I started a line of Color Me cards, which, here you go, here's one of them. This is about partnerships. Because most of my poetry rhymes, I thought, let's make some cards that you can color. Let's see, Color Me cards. Let's see. Color and send or give to a friend. Each one has a poem in it. The theme of my first one was partnership. And the theme of my second card, let's see, here it is, friendship. And so, well, why don't I read you the poem real quick. The one about friendship is called Pocket. The distance between us does not matter at all. The absent hugs and banished shrugs no farther than a call. I don't have to wish on a star to know exactly where you are. I keep every moving part, every cog, and every sprocket, each piece of our friendship's heart, right here inside my pocket. The partnership card, it's a mountainscape, and it's a poem about partnership. The mountain began as a towering mass with peaks defined and steep. The river began to carve a crevasse with creeks inclined and deep. The river unceasingly eroded, the mountain seated itself unloaded. Between the two is a push and a pull, the work of compromise. A bond so true yet flexible, the result a canyon sunrise. One last bit here, I want to do a little plug for our Arts Council, which is in the middle of Cherry Johnson, who was there forever, left and retired after, gosh, what, 25, 30 years. And so the new girl, you guys got be easy on her. It's a big set of shoes to fill. We have one of the best arts councils for the size town that we have, very supportive of artists. I've worked with the Arts Council for a long time. I've been here since '91. And support the Arts Council because they support the arts here. We have a lot of things because of them.